Welcome to the Accidental Fatherhood podcast with James and Ash. We started this podcast because there isn't a lot of support out there for us guys. We're going through a pretty tough time right now.
Yeah, accidents, not mistakes.
Unplanned pregnancies and new relationships and what is going on with our lives. So we're trying to bring a little bit of support through some awesome special guests, and
It's a place to commiserate together.
and we are rolling. Welcome everyone to the Accidental Fatherhood podcast. You're here with Ash and James as usual, and I'm joined today with Jordan. Jordan, would you like to give us a little bit of a brief introduction to who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. I mean, first, thanks for the opportunity, boys, to be on the show today. I really kind of introduce myself as someone not really related to their work. I kind of like to put it completely aside. A lot of people don't really know like what I do for work. They more know me as the healthy kind of crazy dude that runs long distances and that kind of stuff. And that's a title that basically, it's kind of stuck with me, but it's not really my full identity either. So it's interesting coming on these podcasts and trying to introduce yourself because, I don't really know how I would introduce myself because there's so many different networks of different people and different communities and parts of it that I'm in. So I'd say that, I'm kind of like some sort of content creation, ultra marathon runner, crazy data, sleep kind of dude, if I was to say anything. Yeah.
And / entrepreneur as well?
Yeah. I mean, a business is a big part of my day as well. And I think that's something that people don't really see because they really only see like my kind of life through a social media lens.
Yeah.
And it's really based around, health and wellness and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, cool. And which is why I thought it'd be really great to have you on here just to maybe share some insights into discipline, being healthy, what's good diet. I mean, I know diet's different for every single person, but if you have any tips around that kind of stuff as well, might be really helpful for anyone listening.
What you haven't really told us what you do for your day job. When you're not running, what are you doing?
I do have I have a bunch of different businesses, but my main stuff where I probably spend 70% of my work is creating content for different brands.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
So lots of video, lots of now blogs, and everyone has access to a phone in their hand, but they actually have no idea how to push record or what to do with it. So
content creator and mainly video or photo and video?
Yeah, a bit of both. Yeah, I mean, the way that everything's going at the moment, it's more based around video.
You could have easily told us a couple of pointers while we're madly trying to set up.
Absolutely not.
We would look like rookies.
Absolutely not. I walked in, it was all ready to go. It was just James has it sorted.
Yeah, he's like, Jay, you got it sorted. I'm like, thanks, man. He's like, yeah.
That means a lot now.
It does.
Yeah.
We're very amateur here, so we're doing our very best.
No, that's great.
I wouldn't say we're amateur anymore, though. We're doing all right. I was going to say, you were supposed to be on this podcast a few weeks ago, and can you tell me what happened? Because when I heard what happened, I'm like, you poor thing, man.
Yeah, just warehouse little malfunction. Obviously, there's been a lot of rain and different stuff, but yeah, there was a few plumbing issues, if you would like to call it.
Because what is the business? It's to do with water, isn't it?
Yeah, my brother runs a water company, and they basically do it's clean drinking water all over the Gold Coast, basically from Brisbane to Byron, and their warehouse is all to do with water. So,
and it flooded.
Yeah.
I'm like, that must be a big flood. That's happened. I heard it was all hands on deck, using the ship language, but or the sailor language. Yeah, so so we actually got Paul on at that time, and he was a bit of a sub in, which was really cool for him to do that. But it's finally good to have you on here. So, what's if you're an ultra marathon runner, what's one of the biggest challenges you faced in your life as a I guess athlete?
I think probably one of the biggest things would definitely be learning how to include it into your day-to-day life. Obviously, I have commitments and I have stuff that I need to do, so I can't just run all day.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest things is, how do you structure your day? And a big part of me is like getting up early and getting it done, knowing then that I can kind of tackle whatever I have to do business-wise for the rest of the day. Like, obviously, I'm not a pro athlete, so I don't, have no sponsors or anything like that. I still have to.
For people listening and that want to sponsor Jordan.
But I think too, like it's, because, I'm in a position where I do like kind of self-fund myself, if you will. I have to be really disciplined of, I'm not getting paid by anyone else. It's all on me.
Yeah, we know how that feels, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, amateur sports suck for that. It's
But, yeah.
like, because you'd be going all over the country competing in events, you have to pay for the flights,
All that
accommodation,
stuff,
then you got to show up with the events after you spent all this like financial pressure and stuff.
But you love it, right? You love doing it.
I love it. I mean, it's been a part of a way that I've been able to see the world. It's been a way that I've been able to meet so many different people. So it hasn't been like, as much as it is, it's been a great little investment, if anything.
Yeah. So how do you start? So you're obviously an early riser, I would say. How do you structure your day? Is it do you have a fairly tight regime or schedule that you stick to, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is just trying to set that morning schedule up so that I can deal with, as you know, like business stuff. Never your day ever goes to plan. So I think like if I can get my first training block done, I know that that's taken care of. I can kind of handle the rest of the day. So I generally get up at like anywhere between 3:45, 4 a.m. like every day.
Yeah, wow.
I'll try and get like at least 2 hours of training in every morning. And then I'm at service to everyone else for the rest of the day. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And-
Wowzers.
Yeah, that is discipline, and to be good at anything and to discipline is actually a very hard thing for most people to do. Even getting out of the bed in the morning at a normal time can be hard. So at 3:45, it takes really good discipline to do that. I heard a little tool back in the day about getting out of bed in the morning, and it's just to count down.
Oh yeah.
So if you can't get out of bed, it's like
nice.
5, 4, 3, 2, I'm out, and get out and just count yourself out of your bed.
I have that. It's called a snooze button.
That's the opposite.
I like that actually. I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
That's
just
good.
like kind of mentally prepare yourself to get out.
Do you struggle getting out of bed, or is it just like, fuck yeah, I get to run?
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, it's either running or gym, or some mornings it's swim. And I know that sounds stupid, like 4 a.m., but there's crazy people that do swim on the Gold Coast at like 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's actually really pleasant. But I wouldn't say that I struggle to get out of bed. Is there days where I don't feel like it? Absolutely. I'm like the normal person. But I know like if I don't do it, the rest of my day is going to be like a bit of a drag or a struggle or like...
Yeah.
So I just, you just put yourself in it.
And that's what discipline is, right? It's doing it when you don't want to do it.
Yeah, and I think too, like just showing up once, like, you got to put your shoes on, but then you've actually got to do the session. Like, it's like showing up to a meeting. Like, you've got to show up and then you've got to show up inside the meeting. I kind of look at stuff like that as well. It's all good getting to the session, but I can't be in like a shitty mood when I'm standing there.
Yeah.
It's like I need to show up again to actually get through it.
Yeah, and I actually, to make sure I do things, even Kung Fu is scheduled in my diary. I live by my diary, and every single thing I do or want to do in my week, I schedule it in. So there's no room. That's what helps me with discipline, because I'm like, these are all non-negotiables for me. This is what's happening. And the only time I would not stick to that schedule or not be disciplined about something would be I'm injured or I'm sick or I'm listening to my body and going, hey, I really don't feel like doing it today. And there's an underlying reason there. So sometimes listening to the body is a really big thing as well. Just to not push yourself through. We talk about the feather brick truck analogy, but yeah, not making something that could potentially be a really bad thing for the body. Yeah. So how do you deal with that? How do you know when you start to get an injury? Because I imagine doing what you do is fairly high intensive and injuries happen. How do you like stay healthy, recover, all those things?
It's a good question. I haven't really had any injuries at all.
Touch wood. Touch wood.
So I've been lucky around that. Lucky, I don't know. Maybe I've created my own luck from it. Obviously, I'm pretty strict on nutrition wise. So, what I'm eating yesterday is going to like take over today's session. That's how I basically look at it.
And what about stretching and things like that? Do you have stretching? Is stretching a big part of what you do?
Yeah, stretching and obviously recovery. I'm big into like ice baths and stuff. I try and have at least 5 saunas a week. And, I put things like what you do with your Kung Fu. I just put them in my diary and I just make it as a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I know that the more that I let it slide, the more that I'm just going to build up some kind of tension. And then all it does is it just wrecks your future training sessions.
Yeah, you actually come across, like for me, you come across very relaxed and calm and chill like for an ultra marathon runner? I don't know. Maybe that's
Have
just
Yeah.
have you met many ultra marathon runners?
no. I don't, yeah. You were like, it's going to take a while to do this, so I'm just going to chill out and very peace. You seem very kind of content.
Yeah, I think it's something that I have learnt because you just do a lot of training. Like, you know, you're doing 20 hours a week, some weeks of like training. So I think if you're uptight and you're in like that stressful kind of environment all the time, like, you know, one of the big things I said yesterday to a couple of guys was talking about, you know, how people run for like, say, mental health. You know, I don't run for mental health. Like I deal with my problems. I don't need to run like to try and switch off. It's more that I actually enjoy it, and then I use it as a way to actually deal with, you know, those times where it is a little stressful, where I can be a bit more calm as opposed to, you know, being reactive.
Yeah, I wonder if sprinters are like, you know,
They're just so ego.
they're just like
Yeah.
like really fast paced, and I wonder if there is a different, you know, how you show up in one area of your life.
They're like the cocaine.
Yeah,
the
they've had
cocaine.
10, they've had 10
where
coffees.
ultra marathons guys are like more like the weed sort of.
Yeah, pretty well. That's the thing, you know. Like a lot of the trail running guys, they're very chilled out. Like there's very little things that kind of stress them out. That's something that I have found, and the girls too.
Well, it's also running out in nature, being, you know, out in nature all the time, and just, you know, being amongst all that. I think would have an influence on how your mind and, you know, would slow you down a little. Yeah,
Huge.
Wow. But I'm just going to throw a question out from left field. Are you accidental father? Are you dad?
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
And
we did
neither.
cover that before the podcast.
No.
Just for
Yeah, you got
everybody
me a
listening.
good surprise straight up.
and I know you haven't had any injuries as well. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
36.
36.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of adopted the ultra stuff like in my 30s. It wasn't something that I just went straight off and did. You know, so I was always being able to do like, say, ultra, but the way that I do ultra endurance events now is like, you know, closer to that 14 to 15 hour mark as opposed to like the 6 to 8 hour mark.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking as well, like, because you seem very calm and collected, you don't, and I'm sure you do push yourself, but I'm sure you're very mindful of how far you push your body so that you can kind of take care of it a little bit more. I don't know if is that something you do as well? Just, you don't push yourself to that, because that's when you get injuries, right? When you go too hard.
It's a big one because you see stuff where people like on social media, you know, are really trying to compare themselves to others, and they, you know, they've had no experience, and they try and jump in and be like David Goggins,
Yeah.
right? Like they try and do what he's done. They don't realize that he's a 20-year vet, you know, qualified in every skill that you possibly can from a military environment. So he has some kind of medical and, you know, knowledge around what he's actually doing. But I see it all the time with these kids come in, they watch someone on social media, and then they just try and do exactly what they do, and they end up getting injured.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a bit more, you know, I have learnt a lot around the different training loads of what works and what doesn't. I'm a big volume person. A lot of my stuff is done in like zone 2 for people that know heart rates and stuff. So I think like if you look at majority of my training, it's in that zone 2 kind of category. Allows me just to go like all day pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know when I do HIIT training, or I've stopped for a little while because they closed down, but it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
HIIT training is pretty intense, and I saw
It's literally got
high
intensity.
intensity.
It's
High intensity. It's
high
like
intense, yeah.
But I'm 42, and when I'm there, I'm like, you know, I'm, to be honest, probably one of the oldest there, and I feel like I'm probably pushing my body harder than I need to at my age. I don't think I should be training like a 22, 25-year-old. I feel like I could probably get the same benefit from doing something a little bit easier. Well, not easier, but not taking it to that extreme where I could hurt myself. And even the gym people there, they're like, I really like watching you exercise, James, because you don't lift heavier. You never go too hard, and you're always very careful. And when you do your exercises, you're very careful that you're doing it properly. And I know when I was a teenager, I wouldn't, you know, my form would be horrible because I'm just trying to lift heavy weights.
Yeah.
And now, because I know my body and I know I can get injured, and I have injuries. I do have injuries now, but I'm very careful when I do exercise now because I don't want an injury, because I know if I fuck myself up, I can't do kung fu, and I'm like, that'll really upset me.
Yeah.
So I'm just really mindful of when I'm lifting weights or moving my body in any way to be really mindful of how it's moving, how much weight, how much strain I'm putting on it under, and just being very mindful of that because, yeah, I don't want an injury. And after 40, it seems to be a little bit easier to get injured. But maybe that's a story that I'm just telling myself here.
Well, I think too with that is, like we're alive for a long time. So why should we put things in like, 40s and 50s and 60s? Like, why shouldn't we be able to play tennis still when we're in our 80s and 90s? Like, why? The things that we do now are going to set us up. And that's what I look at too. It's like the longevity. Do I really need to go insane and try and, for what? Like ego?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to look good,
To look good? Or do I like just do what I need to do to like fulfill myself? And then, when I put myself through a race, it's like, there's sections of the course that will be quite technical. And it's like, do I want a broken ankle and miss the next 10 weeks? Or do I want to recover for 10 days and then just get straight back into it? And that's basically where I'd like to be, as opposed to like, pushing myself for what?
Yeah.
So you're not really trying to win any of these events. You're just trying to finish.
I think too. Like, I think the longer that you go, the narrower the field gets. So you set yourself up for a pretty good chance. Like you've got pretty good odds.
Yeah, because that's something that I always have done in the past. Not those watching. I'm clearly not the athlete in the room, but yeah, in the past, like I was always like, oh, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it and I want to win, and I'll try and do it at any cost, win at any cost. I'm covered with injuries, which is why I am a little bit slobbish at the moment. But yeah, it's just listening to you. Like for you, it's about finishing. Is that right? And it's probably like a really good, healthy mental sort of mindset to be in. Is don't worry about the win, worry about the finish, and then you're getting that sort of dopamine hit from finishing the race rather than winning and putting yourself. So for young guys out there. Yeah,
I think it's a big one too. It's, we were talking about it before as well, where, you've got to find joy in the training. Like if you're just doing it to just try and get a race and put on social media with a medal, like, is it really fulfilling you?
Yeah.
Or is it like, I will put something out the day before I've trained, for a race that I have coming up in 3 weeks. And it'll just be like, I'm at the start line, I'm healthy, I'm a different person than what I was when I started training for this block. I've learned heaps of stuff. Whatever happens tomorrow happens. But my goal is to get around and be healthy. And if it means I need to walk and, stop, like, okay, that's so be it. Like, you're out in the Blue Mountains, it's beautiful views. Like, why would I, stop and be like, I'm just going to quit? Yeah. Like, I'm here now, I may as well get to the finish line. And if it's not my day and I need to walk and stuff, well, that's just all part of it too.
So I'm hearing it's about the journey. Always
the journey, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't been able to get into training for a good couple of years now. So I would love any tips that you may have, because I used to be really quite healthy and always had some sort of athletic, whatever, if it was surfboat rowing or if it was just working out in the gym, doing HIIT training. I used to always, that used to be a big part of my life, and then I got injured at work, and now I'm really struggling I've tried a number of different things. I've tried hopping in the pool, doing some laps, but like, for lack of a better word, nothing really turns me on anymore.
Yeah.
So any suggestions, or try and find the journey, I guess, and then maybe focus towards that, like, might be a good takeaway.
I think too, like, your environment's going to be everything. So if you can try and get some like-minded people around you to be like, I always say it's like the rowing mentality of a rowing boat with like 4 people in a boat. If you've got a 5 a.m. session, you're not going to sleep in, because all you're going to do is get a text message from the other 3 going, hey, where the fuck are you?
Done that.
Maybe you could do ballroom dancing.
Yeah, I'm sure my partner would love me. Just, I'm doing ballroom dancing with some hot Brazilian chick.
There you go.
While you're at home with the baby.
What
good one, James.
Real well.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy? What kind of training?
Well, I used to love surfboats, so that was rowing, and I used to wake up at 3 a.m., drive from Brisbane down to the Gold Coast, do some training, and then drive back up to Brisbane and start work for the day, and then go and do a gym session at night. So I used to love that. I used to love team mentality, like doing the team stuff. But I've got a wrist injury, so it's I can't do any life saving because I can't do CPR with my wrists. So life saving's out for me. So yeah, and now it's like, and because I don't want to let people down, I'm just doing a bit of a psycho evaluation of myself. But because I don't want to let people down, I don't really want to join a team.
Yeah.
And I think individual sports have never really, I've never really done well in individual sports. Not since I was about 18 when I was addicted to running and swimming by myself. But yeah, I haven't been able to get into it, eh?
So, and sometimes, have you tried cycling?
Yeah, hate it.
Do you like the bike pads?
I don't know. No, because you know what? Like, in all fairness to cyclists, I fucking hate them. No, but when I got onto the cycle, I was like, I hated cars. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, this is actually
it's brutal.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
And I was like, this is fucked.
Maybe you need
So-
a gravel bike out in the middle of the trails and no one else.
Yeah. Well, Sean,
Yeah.
Sean said it as well. When you're on a bike, you're not accepted on the footpath. You're not accepted on the road. No one wants you
Yeah.
on a bike.
Get out in the trails.
And I said it then too that I
Yeah.
hate cyclists. I don't really hate you guys. I do.
No,
Yeah.
because I'm a cyclist.
Yeah, but
Not a proper cyclist.
you ride to work. I don't think you
That's a
count-
cyclist.
I don't think you count as a cyclist, James. You got a hybrid bike and you ride what, 2Ks?
It's when you say hybrid. What do you mean a hybrid bike?
It's not like a road bike and it's not like a mountain bike. It's like
Yeah, it's not a racer. It's not a
not.
mountain bike. It's a road. It is actually a commuter.
Commuter.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right, a commuter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are we going to do with you, Ash?
Yeah. What
well,
can you do?
I've got a road bike sitting at home.
But you don't like
rusting
it,
away.
so what are we
Yeah.
going to
What
do?
are you going to do?
Yeah, I
What are you
don't
going to
know.
do for a sport? What haven't you tried?
I don't know.
And the question is, I think because of your wrist.
My biggest fear is my wrist.
So that's you got to think about things that aren't too handsy.
Yeah, and I like being handsy.
Is that what your partner says?
Yeah, that's how I got here. I was too handsy. The other problem is that I always skipped leg day, man. So like the surf boat rowing, I didn't need that much. Like I needed a bit of leg strength, but because of the waves and everything in that sport, you could get away with not being the strongest in your legs. So I don't know. And I've tried running again. I've tried rucking, and to be honest, now that I'm that unfit, and that's the other thing too. I don't start at the bottom. I'll be like, all right, I'm going to run, and my heart will be like, I'll be getting warnings on my heart rate is like, you should go to hospital. Like, it's so bad.
Straight to zone 6.
Yeah, it's straight there. Like, yeah, and then it doesn't, and then like I'm blacking out and all sorts of things, and I'll be like walking along the beach having like a freaking heart attack after 200 meters because I've just like done a Usain Bolt thinking that I'm like some ultra marathon runner.
Yeah. I wonder what you can do.
So yeah, anybody out there listening that's got an idea,
Yeah, like something that's fitness, like a healthy, moving the body.
yeah, like I used to love F45. F45 was so fun. I used to love that. But again, the wrist is going to let me down with that.
Yeah. Maybe you could do taekwondo. Then it's all legs, isn't it?
Kickboxing,
fuck
yeah.
that.
Yeah, kickboxing or legs.
Kickboxing's like I did Muay Thai. I've done Muay Thai before,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's like a lot of that's like a
there's
lot of hands
arms
and a
in
lot
there
of
too.
yeah. So
Or you could just hold one hand behind your back and just do one.
just
hand.
do left like
Yeah.
jab southpaw.
I don't know. Yeah, you're in a. Yeah. Maybe you need
don't know.
to go online, create a list of all these things you haven't tried.
Maybe I should just start
then-
walking and then building my way up to
That's
running
it.
and enjoy the journey.
Just walk those
That's
hills.
what I'm getting. my mate, you know how you said surround yourself with people. Well, I've got a mate. Well, Bart, he's been on the podcast. He's like, come for a walk with us. We'll do a little bush walk. It's only a little one, 8Ks. And I'm like, yeah, easy. We'll shit that in. Because like Bart would ring me up, and he's a guy that would do enduro, and I'd wing doing an enduro event when I was a bit younger, like 28 sort of thing. And I'd just be like, okay, we're going to do it. So enduro is a 24-hour obstacle course race. It's a loop, and you just go around a loop constantly doing obstacle course, 10 kilometer obstacle course race. And it's in the middle of winter, so it's like it's not easy. But yeah, I'd wing that, anyway, so I was like, yeah, sure. This is probably, Billy would have been 3 weeks old. So she was about 3 weeks old. And I was like, yeah, I need to start doing something. I want to be around for my kid. And so he's like, yeah, come for this bushwalk. We got halfway down this mountain. So we started at the top of the mountain where the car park was, and we went down all around these like bushwalks and stuff. And then my heart was like, fuck you, zone 6. It was like
And that was,
zone 6,
and
zone
that was
6, zone 6.
downhill.
No, I was coming back up, fuck yeah. But yeah, kick the table. But he was like, oh, maybe we should stop. And he's like, what's your heart rate at? And I was like,
200.
220. He's like, holy shit. And I'm like, yeah. But it was just a light, like nice walk. I mean, yeah, it was about 3 hours in, but still.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then again, that deterred me. It sort of sucked, but yeah, maybe I should start with some baby steps.
Yeah, you got to build up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also hard with having a kid and getting away.
I'm surprised you got out for an AK walk.
She was very young.
After 3 weeks.
She was very young, and by the time we got back into phone reception, there was a lot of messages.
I bet there was.
Like, where are you?
Where
are you
are
coming
you?
back?
Yeah.
I need your help.
You're like struggling to breathe.
So definitely like, yeah. Meanwhile, I'm having a heart attack, getting hooked up to the like ECGs and shit, like waiting for the electric shock to kick in to reset my heart rhythm. And she's like, hurry up. So, but yeah. Anyway, so if you think of anything, but no, I think takeaway is definitely like maybe I should really embrace the journey and just get out there again. So thanks for that.
Yeah, just take it slow.
Have you tried?
Take it slow.
Can you do yoga or something like that at all?
Again, Bart tried to put me through like a zoo thing, and he's my biggest issue is that I'm so used to being able to do everything that I go whole hog.
Yeah.
So like I'll do a yoga, for instance, and like I'll put all my weight on my wrist, and then my wrist will flare up.
Yeah.
And then I get like psychologically it depresses me because I'm like, oh fuck, can't do yoga.
Yeah.
It's been a tricky one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
Baby
yeah.
steps.
Baby steps.
But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Jordan.
I like it. I have to think about what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sleep routine. Obviously, that's a massive one. I remember when I used to wake up at 3 a.m., there'd be nights where I could not get to sleep. I'd be like, got to wake up at 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, and I mean, that might come from pressure from having a team rely on me to get down at a certain time and whatnot. Yeah. And then when I was driving down from Brisbane to the coast, like it's like you miss by an inch, you miss by a mile sort of thing. Like if I slept in 45 minutes, it had another 45 minutes on top from when we could start the session. But do you have any good sleep hacks to get your body to sleep? What's your sleep routine look like? Because I see you've got a whoop.
Yeah.
There it is.
A whoop.
A whip. A whoop. A whoop. A whoop.
But yeah, I see you've got one. So I'm assuming that you're tracking all these sort of things, and you have said that you love this data as well.
Yeah,
so.
It's the Whoop's definitely changed a lot of behaviors where I'm kind of more aware of what's going on now. I know, like, I can't eat after 5:30 or it completely destroys my sleep. I've tried it time and time and time again. I've tried different foods, different times, and like even with the training loads, like you need to eat. But I just worked out 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock, everything after that.
So how does it tell you that? Is it like HRV or?
Yeah, so you got your HRV and then it'll give you your sleep analysis, and you can just see that your recovery, like your body's just spending the whole night cooking itself, trying to digest your food.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
And like, to be honest, I didn't really feel it. Like it wasn't, I thought I'd slept okay, but it's not till you start being aware of like, that you're not in like a deep sleep. You're like in some kind of light sleep.
Yeah.
And I did this for months. So like I tried to figure out ways to like, as you said, hack it. But I just couldn't. And I was like, shit, maybe that's...
How did you come up with like reducing the time that you were eating? Or was that just something that naturally sort of...
Yeah, I mean, I just, I've worked back. Like I try and take on as much as I can throughout the day. And it is tight. And then some days, like, I do miss meals. Like, I'd love to have, in a perfect world, I'd have 6 meals a day, but it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just be constantly eating. I'm either too full or, like, you know, like I've got stuff on, like I can't be eating all the time.
And what time's bedtime? 7 p.m.
No, I'm due out by 8. Like I'm in bed by 8.
Yeah,
I'm
wow.
reading.
Yep.
Like I'll always read before I go to bed. I try and have like a really non-negotiable, at least 30 minutes of no screen time before I go to bed, and some kind of analog, whether it's reading or just, you know, like writing or journaling or whatever. And I make that like as a real non-negotiable to just
That's a
try
good
and
idea.
calm down every day.
Because I know whenever I read my book, it puts me to sleep. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
10
Even if,
minutes,
even
I'm
if
like,
it's 5 minutes,
I'm
it's just
tired.
Yeah, I think it's just, and it's also another way for us to not be like on our phones before we go to bed. I mean, I know that's, you know, hard for some people to do.
Or TV.
Yeah, or TV. Yeah, or iPad, like whatever it is. You
Yeah.
know, I see people scrolling. Like, you know, when you travel with people, it's kind of weird because you're exposed to like their
Yeah.
routines, and you're like,
Ooh.
fuck, is that what you do? I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. And that could be a big reason why we have trouble winding down at the end of the night. Like a lot of people do. I don't seem to have any trouble with sleep. I bought one of those Whoops. It actually arrived today, so I haven't got it on.
Yeah, nice.
But I'm really interested to see because I find because I'm an introvert, so when I have a lot of meetings and I'm with people, I seem to get really drained. And I'd like to actually start tracking. I love data as well. I'm like, I just want to know what's going on a little bit more so I can fine tune my diet, my sleep, just fine tune my lifestyle so that I can have that energy in those meetings or last the day when I need to. I know if I've got Kung Fu in the afternoons, I'll actually maybe not ride to work because I know I want the energy for Kung Fu, or I won't have any meetings so that because Kung Fu is really complicated and you're learning the whole time. So I'd like to be kind of have the energy and the mental capacity to be able to learn at that time of night, which is like, you'd hate it because it's at 7:15 and I finish at 9 p.m. and that stuffs with me a little bit. But I get home from that and I'm like, I'm out like a light because I expel all my energy. And I do saunas 3 times a week, 3 mornings a week.
Yeah, nice.
And I heard on Joe Rogan this week that saunas, if you're doing it over 3 or 4 times a week, reduces dementia or Alzheimer's by like 65%.
Was that Huberman?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it was Huberman,
it was from Sweden or Finland or something.
Yeah, so she's pulled the study out of that, like 57 minutes a week.
Yeah.
As like an accumulative. I was like, that is so achievable for
So
everyone.
achievable. I got a sauna at my new apartment, so I'm like, I just get down there. It is great, and I love it because I don't take my phone in either. And for me, it's kind of like meditative.
Nice.
And they did say like you want to get to that point where it's just kind of uncomfortable. I want to get out of here towards the end. It's like, and I get to that point. But it's
How long's that normally?
20 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
20 minutes, and I'm good. And then I jump in the pool straight afterwards. It's not freezing cold, but it's like, whoosh, and then I leave on the cold. That's a beautiful start to the day. I feel so good after that.
It's what you said before, like going back to being in meetings and stuff around people.
Mm-hmm.
I have a client who every time that I'm with them, my HRV drops dramatically.
It's not Paul, is it? Just joking, Paul.
So it's funny that you say that because it's, again, like you're aware of it, and obviously you can deal with it. And when there's, you know, business involved and, you know, certain relationships there, you just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Do you have to? I don't know. But do I enjoy it? Like, yeah, I like the challenge of it, but I pay the price for it that night every time.
Yeah, and for me, I think this Whoop and all this data that we're collecting, for me, it's all about how do I be in the highest performance I can be in my life and get the most out of my day at those times when I can. Because if I'm exhausted, like I'll try and manipulate my week around, okay, I've got the most energy in the morning, so I'll do all my strategies in the morning. Because in the afternoons, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like I just get after, I know about 2 p.m. Nods or sleepy. I'm like, I can't do strategy. I don't really like doing strategies after 2 because I'm just like, I'm not in my prime, and I really want to be serving my client at the best level.
Yep.
So I try and manipulate my week around my highest performing times and my energy and how can I do that? Don't do too many strategies in a day. So it's I love that life hacking and I want to be at my best all week, all the way through there. And how do I do that? And I think this technology that's helping us kind of fine tune our lifestyles and sleep patterns and, you know, when should you go to bed? When should you eat? All those things, those tiny differences that you make can have a massive difference in your energy levels. And for me now in my 40s, it's not about, can I go out drinking? Can I eat this? Can I go to sleep? For me, it's about managing my energy.
Yeah.
It's not about managing my exercise or my food. It's like I'm managing my energy now. How can I? When in my 20s, it was never an issue. And I don't know whether it was because my body was fine, I didn't have any issues, or there was no awareness there, and I just pushed through.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. But now I'm like super aware of my body. I know when I'm tired. I know when I can't focus right. And I just think, yeah, I'm all about that technology and data and just hacking your life to perform at your best all the time and get the most out of it. Because when you have kids, I can't imagine what the sleep is like then, but I'd like to be able to show up at work, at home with the family, whatever that looks like. And how do I fine tune that so I can get a system or a routine in place to live it in, your best life.
Yeah, I think
Hashtag.
too, like, it's never going to be bulletproof either. Like, I say around not eating after 5:30, but, if I have friends in town, it's the only chance I get to see them. I'm also not guilty of going there and knowing that I'm going to pay the price. I just know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I've just learned to remove that, like, guilt of being, normally I would have said, no, I can't. But it's like, you've got people that's the only time that they can,
Yeah.
meet.
Yeah. And the weekends is kind of my get out of jail free card for me. It's like I will lax things to see my friends, to go out for a meal, to hang with my partner or do something out of the ordinary. But during that Monday to Friday when I'm working, I love to stick into that nice routine, 80% of the time doing the right thing, and that 20% of the time you can kind of go a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's just being consistent
Yeah.
on that too. Like, again, your weekends don't have to be always like full too. Like, even if they are, it's like, I've moved the bar mentality to like, let's catch up for breakfast.
Yeah, I love breakfast is the best. Breakfast is the best meal of the day.
Yeah,
'Cause
like-
you know what it is? It's the coffee because
Yeah.
it puts you in a good. Oh, do you drink coffee?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when you're eating your breakfast and you have your coffee, you're in like the best mood after a coffee. So
For me, it's the bacon and eggs.
It's half the
There
price.
you go.
It's half the price of
Yeah.
of dinner and wine and all that, and it's just like go for breakfast.
It's about a quarter of the price of a night out.
Yeah, it is. It certainly is. What I really liked, and going back to what you said before, was the guilt around eating something bad or doing something you shouldn't do. I think we need to give ourselves a bit of a break, especially if we're doing that 80% of the time. We're doing really good. On the weekends, if you eat bad or do something, it's okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
It's not going to make a massive difference.
No.
And you're allowed to slip up every now and again, or and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy that.
I think too, like, it's when people constantly do it where they not enjoying it. It's like I'm doing it because, like someone has invited me. Like, that's where it's like, okay, cool. As soon as you start to remove that, like, I'm enjoying it, then maybe you should think of, why you're actually doing it.
Yeah, why? And I wanted to ask you as well, being the frame that you are, I had a bit of a.
What are you saying?
Well, no, you're very fit. Sorry, just to clarify, I'm not throwing any insults or judgments out.
Like it.
I'll just say you're very fit. And I found. I just want to ask. I'm just asking about intermittent fasting. A, do you do it? B, do you find it beneficial? Do you find it helps with energy? I've done it. I had a bit of a big week in Sydney last week, and I ate pretty badly, and I just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Didn't judge. But
Nice.
I haven't eaten dinner. I've intermittent fasted Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after lunch. So I've gone lunch. I find because I do most of my activity in the morning, that I'll just miss dinner and go to bed hungry, and I find us sleeping for most of the fast anyway.
Yeah.
And then wake up and have a nice breakfast and lunch. But I did that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I feel really good for it. Yeah, I just wanted to see what your opinion on intermittent fasting.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I think when I'm getting ready for a big race, I don't do it just because of the volume. But as soon as I finish, on the 29th of October, I'll have my day of eating, and then I will do a 3-day fast as a reset.
Whoa, 3 days.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I normally do that like a few times a year.
Straight after a marathon. An ultra marathon.
Does
An
this-
ultra marathon.
I've found when I intermittent fast for, I've done a few kind of day or 2 days, I find my heart starts to feel
Very common. Yeah, it starts to like beat a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's
It's
really
like it's under
common.
stress.
Yeah, it's really common because it's just doing what it needs to do. But I think like when you get into day 3 of not just my own personal experience, but what I've also learned is your body's just completely regenerating from like a cellular level, which I was like, it's insane.
Maybe I need to do a fast. Fuck, what would I do? I'd be so bored.
Well,
Because it's like, I can't wait for my coffee, can't wait for lunch.
it's a big one because it's like, like, what do? You catch yourself like going to the fridge for, you know, for like, it's just part of like your consciousness of like.
You have to do it during the week when you're working.
You reckon?
Yes, because your mind's busy doing
What's
work.
a fast look like? Is that just water?
Water, yeah.
Is there anything else?
No, generally just do water.
Just drinking water really quickly.
I do a 5-day
Chewing gum?
a 5-day completely dry fast. So no showers, no brushing teeth.
What?
No washing hands. I do that once a year too. So
Wow.
so 5 days. Like obviously I'm not working.
Yep.
So I don't have any external like emails. I actually give my passwords to someone to change all of my social media for that week.
Yep.
And we will do 5 days, and the first exposure is to the ocean
Wow.
after 5 days.
And where do you do that?
Normally down in Byron.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get like a house. It's normally with a bunch of chiropractors. And we kind of we all do it together. Because again, you kind of need to be supervised. You need to have some sort of experience.
Yeah.
But I think with that kind of reset fast, you have a purpose of like, you're going to do it because you want to just completely strip whatever's going on.
Yeah.
And what do you meditate and stuff
I
during?
think
Like,
it's
what
not
do you
so much
guys-
meditation.
It's
more just
adjusting each
Oh
other.
no, I mean
No,
like during the
actually,
five.
there's none of
during the
that
5
either.
days.
No adjusting.
No, there
you
isn't.
just-
It's more just kind of you just
Binging Netflix.
yeah, like well, not even that. Like you're just basically chilling out. I think like
You can't move because you've got no energy. It's like no
well,
food.
you've done the
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you've done. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
When you do the silent treatments
Yeah.
and
So,
stuff. and-
so can you explain exactly what you do for that? How many days?
In the 5 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do 5 days. You get in, you're just drinking water only. I think it's just really light stretching. It's walking. Like there's nothing where you're exerting yourself. I think again, you find that second and third day where your heart's like about to jump out of its chest. Like that's really common. But then you look at like, body odor and things like that. It's just non-existent. Like you would think that like not showering after so long, you're naturally going to smell, but you don't. Like
so no showers. Yeah, right.
so no washing hands, like just no water. And obviously this has come from a lot of experience. This isn't just something that if you've never fasted before, you don't just dive into a 5-day one. But the guys that we do it with are kind of they're all over the place when it comes to the different methodologies, and we kind of chat about stuff. And it's just more of it is a full reset.
Yeah.
But it's pretty intense when you do it for the first time.
Oh,
I did struggle the first time.
It sounds intense. And you guys, you said silent, so you guys do.
No, we don't do any silent.
Okay,
We still
so
do. We
you still speak to each other?
Yeah, and we kind of walk around, and it's not meditation. It's more like just, you're just sitting there, you're relaxed, you're out in the sun.
And what about, speaking of meditation, do you guys do any meditation while you're fasting? Because I've heard that when your body's not digesting and you go into a fast, a lot of monks fast for meditation. And do you find any of that stuff happen?
Yeah, I think naturally, you need to fill the time somehow, right? If that's what you want to call it. So, like some kind of guided meditation is good. We have done that, whether we're, laying down or sitting up, or like there has been times where but it's not like, 6 hours of meditation.
I really want to try this.
Yeah, me too.
I think if anything too, like what I have found from a lot of people is that inflammation.
Yeah.
So injuries we talk about,
Yeah.
a lot of those become non-existent through fasting is what I've seen. I had a friend of mine
Maybe I should try.
who just did 250 Ks running around an athletics track, so 625 laps. Did that 3 weeks ago. And he come out of it with like really swollen knees,
I imagine, yeah.
just fasted and completely remove that inflammation. You're watching it in like lifetime.
Yeah. And do you do any of the ice baths or any of the breath work or anything else while you're doing this fast? Or is it really just chill, really
not
relaxed?
Not really.
Yeah.
It is more of something that is like, it's like an ultimate kind of just chill out.
Just focus on and do you also eliminate like social media and you just get rid of everything and just
any external kind of, distraction,
Yep.
So that you don't find yourself, like you literally you're at peace of like.
Oh, it sounds awesome. This sounds really nice, just to disconnect, chill out, fast.
Not eat. Imagine how much money you'd save.
But I think it'd be, it would actually be, you would, but I actually think it'd be really good for your mind and your desire to eat. Like that, it would be a lot of a mental game as much as it is a physical. Right?
Absolutely huge. I think, like, just as I said before, around trying to you go to the fridge. Like, it's just like it's like a conscious
I
thing.
bet you go there all the time.
It's like,
what am I doing?
but I think after what I have found is like after 48 hours, it's like non-existent. You know, like you're not even thinking of that. You're more like, hey, let's just go for like an easy walk, and then turns out into like a 3 hour, because you're out and about in the elements, So I think, and you're drinking water, so it's like, you're not drinking water, so you're like sweating and stuff, and then you're thinking like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go and get a glass of water when I finish? So you can't do anything that's like too exerting.
Right. So it's no water, nothing.
Nothing.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And how long can the body last without water?
Well, I'm not going to say like too much. I know a lot of stuff where there's been some like crazy things, but I think like the benefits that I have found over 5 days have been like out of nothing that I ever expected. You do your reading and you're Googling and you look at stuff.
Yeah.
Some of these guys that I do it with do this 3 or 4 times a year.
Wow. Because I know people do water fasts as well. They just have water. They just drink water. But this is like nothing.
Nothing.
And then
I was really exposed to it. Like, I was like, it can't be. Like, when I was exposed to it first,
yeah,
someone told me.
I'm in that right now. I'm like,
He's
wow.
like, it can't be. And I was like,
I'm a mouth breather. Like I need water.
Yeah, speaking of water, I need some now.
I'd have one night.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, someone spit in my mouth.
I've got cotton mouth.
Yeah,
it's
sweating. Let me just lick you.
It's so true. I mean, it's so true. But that's why you just don't do a lot of stuff either. I think you find your sleep's like next level.
Okay, tell me this then. What is your first meal?
So normally some kind of broth. So these guys.
That sounds
Oh,
really good.
fuck that. I'd be like, pizza.
Well, the thing is too, like you
Probably can't.
You've got to go
yeah,
easy.
even after 3 days, like I've seen people have these meals where they've broken a 3-day fast and they've gone for pizza and stuff, and they end up paying the price for like a few days.
Yeah, I bet. So you got to ease your way back in.
So your first exposure is to the ocean.
And what does that feel like? Explain to me what.
It's really hard to put in words, but it's a really like euphoric type. Yeah, it's weird. I know.
No, I'm laughing because imagine if there was like a cyclone or something that day.
And you can't get in.
And you're like, oh man.
I can't go in the water. I really want to.
Stand out here in the rain.
Imagine you're doing it in Florida right now. There's
Yeah.
like a huge hurricane just going through there.
There's nothing to you. You're just getting blown away in the wind.
no strength.
No strength to fight off.
You just drown.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
We digress.
Well, speaking of like strength too, like you find that you would, most people think like you lose heaps of energy and stuff, but you actually don't. You actually feel very recharged.
Well,
when
you go into
finished.
ketosis, right?
Yeah, I think it's even deeper than that.
Yeah.
And what about muscle degeneration from the fast? Does that happen?
Yeah, I think so. Like it's, obviously, we're both like being on the gym and stuff and just being in it. But I think just having that reset around it, you don't feel like you were any weaker or anything like this, but you do, because you're not going through those workouts and you're not running and you're not, doing your kung fu and stuff. You just find that like each day you are just full of energy, like more and more. Like you go through a little bit of a time where it's like, I'm hungry or I need water or whatever. So it's just like, again, you just take it day by day. But I just found after day 5, you just get to a point where it's like, I'm full of energy and I'm like ready to go.
And what kind of preparation do you do before you go in?
Good. That's a really good question. I think you try and let people know that are close to you so that they don't need you. Like you kind of just say, look, I am going to be, off grid, if that's what you want to call it. So I think it's really important that you just kind of let people know around you so that they can, like if they need to text you or whatever, it's like, it's on like some kind of urgency.
Yeah. What about food and water? Like, what do you do before you go into? Do you have to ease your way into it?
No,
or do you just like?
No, you can just start like straight away. I think you find that
You can just imagine leaving from the car to the house. You just like stuffing
Yeah,
your face
yeah.
with food, right?
Yeah,
Just get in there.
Well, I think
Eating chips.
yeah, I think you're gonna notice it like straight up if you do that. I just suggest that you do that a few days before, rather
Drinking
than
Pepsi and then popping some sleeping pills to
Yeah.
get through the first 2 days.
that's where you're really gonna be like have that dry mouth and need some water.
Wake up, I'm parched is.
Gosh, that's brute.
I think setting yourself up, like obviously, it's probably like a week-long thing.
Yeah.
You know, like 5 days where you have nothing, but you know, you need to look after yourself on either day, either side, at least.
How's your HRV after that?
Generally I've found that they spike. I find I get a hell of a lot deeper sleep when I've got no food after the third day. The first 2 nights you kind of wig out a bit. But I find you settle after day 3, 4, and 5, and a lot of the research and stuff shows what your body actually does, you know, in that 72-hour
Yeah.
after that.
Really cool and really interesting.
Yeah,
I'm glad I asked that question about intermittent fasting. I didn't think we'd go there.
I'm thirsty as.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like,
I
anyway,
think time and a place. I think you set it up for it. You know, when it comes to my training, I don't fast at all because, you know, I need stuff
energy.
to get through each workout.
Because your body needs that fuel.
Huge.
Yeah.
But I think the moment that I, you know, finish it like, you know, a race or a goal or whatever it is, it's like, okay, give your body a bit of a reset. I find 3 days works really well. Don't do any food, just water. And then you just start to ease yourself back into it again.
what's your meals look like usually, like during training and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm fully plant-based. I made that decision like 4 years ago, and that was purely off the back of my blood work and looking what that did. Again, like Whoops helps with this kind of stuff. I have no problems with people that, you know, eat meat and do all that kind of stuff. A lot of my friends do as well, but I found for me it's just, you know, going through a lot of those kind of fruits and veggies have helped a lot. And then structuring my day around that. So I do like lots of oats, lots of blueberries as like a staple, lots of lentils, lots of tofu, like all that kind of stuff.
And do you? I'm like my partner loves to cook a meal every time she cooks. Like it's got to be like gourmet, taste good, look good,
that.
all those things.
Love that.
I love it. I just don't have the time or the energy to do that.
This is why I'm in the way I'm in now. Because Tisha's like that.
Yeah,
And I ate
But it's obviously not healthy.
I ate all of the pasta.
Well, there's, you know, at least my partner, she actually cooks really healthy meals, and she's pregnant at the moment. She doesn't like to eat a lot of meat, so we eat a lot of tofu and tempeh and all those things.
Nice.
And I was vegan for about a year. I was vegetarian for about 3 years, so I went through that whole process, and I ended up, as most vegans do, they kind of end up eating meat again.
Yeah.
Flexitarian, I think I ended up calling myself, and then
nice.
end up full. I try and limit my meat intake. However, I find I eat really kind of it's just for nutrients and sustenance and simplicity and efficiency from Monday to Friday. I will just stir fry just really easy meals. And my partner likes to cook like really complex meals. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, nice.
Do you cook? How are you? Are you more efficient? Just cook a bunch of really healthy food. Fuel doesn't matter about it. On the weekends it's different. I'll go out for a nice meal or treat myself. But during the week, I'm like, let's just keep the calories low. Give me what I need. All the great nutrients. 80% of my week is eating that
Jordan's
good stuff.
just eating dry porridge.
And the blueberry.
Like a stoic.
Yeah.
Just no water, nothing. Not even
Straight up
heated up.
hardcore.
Yeah. So what do your meals look like?
I think, you do want to save on time. So, like, obviously I batch a lot of stuff that I need to. But again, like, have you ever tried to eat 2-day-old lentils? They're fucking gross. So I find
I
that...
tried to eat day-old lentils. Lentils. Tried a chickpea once.
I get a little bit farty and bloated on those.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, I get all that stuff because I've gone through it as well. But like, when you find, like, as you said, with your stir fries and that, mine's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just easy stuff that's like, again, it's not even nutrients. Yes, like I know what's inside it, but it's like cool. Just grab whatever.
Yeah.
I like to eat super diverse, lots of colors.
I'm the same. Yeah. Well, super diverse, but always I kind of just carrot. I try and get a lot of colors in there, like whether it's cabbage, carrot, broccoli, zucchini, probably my staples, and then a bit of protein and just tamaris and
All that
and
stuff.
sesame oil and just make your custom sauce. Yeah, and a bit of maybe rice or depending what it is.
I generally have fruit till noon. That's one of my rules. So
Ah.
I generally do fruit till lunchtime, and then I do all my veggies in the afternoon.
That's a good idea. And I'm probably the same, except for I have a shake in the morning.
Yep.
And I just put in the NutriBullet. But I was eating kale for a while, but I actually put spinach in.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Spinach, you cannot taste it.
Yeah.
So you can just put as much spinach as you like in this thing, and you're getting some veggies in the morning,
Yep.
and you don't even know you're eating it. I also
Have you tried rocket?
rocket. No, I've heard negative things about rocket.
Yeah, I think rocket. I like rocket from more of like the nitrates of like getting that kind of similar to beetroot.
Yeah, because I read a blog about or a news article about the hipsters' breakfasts with the rocket and how rocket's really not good for you. So I have heard the negative things about it. So I'm like, I do eat rocket, but it's not something I'll put in things.
Is it not good?
Yeah, it depends. It's like it's like kale, right? Some of these guys that give kale to people in areas where they're not used to eating kale,
Yeah.
and they just get it has the exact opposite.
Yeah, right.
It's the same with rocket, and it's the same with spinach. Like it's the same with lentils and chickpeas.
Yeah, and I guess it's something to do with your gut microbiome, is it?
Microbiome,
yeah. Yeah, and the other thing I put in my shakes, which is really, my partner looked at me this morning and goes, "What are you putting in your shake?" I actually put olive oil in my shake
Oh yeah, nice.
because I don't eat a lot of olive oil,
Nice.
or eat or drink a lot of olive oil, but it's really good for
So good.
your heart. It's really good. It's really good for you. So, and that was on Joe Rogan this week. Walnuts is another one. So they did this. They did the study, and I'm going to stuff it up completely. But it was something around heart attacks and heart health, and people that drank. They did a study where people drank a liter of olive oil a week, which is a lot of olive oil.
A liter.
Yeah, a liter. But it was like an extreme study,
Yeah,
It's like
and they were all heart attack victims.
it's like a greasy motherfucker.
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. But they did this massive study, and all the people that took the olive oil, their risk of another heart attack was reduced by, it was a ridiculous amount, like 70 or 80% from olive oil. The other really cool thing I learnt was around walnuts being really good because they look like a brain. They're really good for your brain. A handful of walnuts every single day. So they go in my shakes every day.
That's good.
Olive oil and walnuts. Walnuts apparently, and I'm going to stuff the stats up, just research this for yourself, but they reduce Alzheimer's, the risk of Alzheimer's or, what was the other one? What's the other one? I'm getting it now. Alzheimer's and
Parkinson's.
not Parkinson's, just the
Dementia.
Dementia
Yeah.
reduces that as well by I think it was 60 or 70%.
I had dementia, and then I forgot that I had it.
I obviously need to eat more walnuts, but
Just information overload.
yeah. So yeah, walnuts, olive oil are part of my staple diets, and then just chuck in some bit of fruit
From this week.
Hey,
From this week on.
I've been having. I knew this olive oil thing and walnuts for a long time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I've only
Thanks
just
for sharing.
Yeah, I've just started. I just started putting it in my shakes this week. I'm like, I was having salads every day, and I don't have those anymore.
Yeah.
So I just introduced olive oil again, but you can't even taste it. You can't taste the olive oil. You can't taste the spinach leaves, and it's just this really nutrient heavy.
What's in the rest of your shake?
I put hemp seeds
Yeah, nice.
in there, walnuts. I put chia seeds in there, just a spoonful. I do put protein powder,
Yeah.
Chocolate.
chocolate, of course. Some
And is
frozen.
that a plant-based one?
Yep, plant based. I
Okay.
do also put. I just put ice and
Berries?
berries. So I'll put blueberries, strawberries, and
nice.
banana in there.
So you're getting the energy from the ice.
And I don't use. I used to put coconut milk or some other milk in it. I just do water.
Yeah, nice.
No
what-
peanut butter or anything?
No peanut butter. Just reducing the soy milk or the coconut milk or whatever you want to put in there was 300 calories or something. I'm like, I can reduce my intake of calories by 300 grams if I just put water in my shake. I'm like, I'll just do that, and it tastes fine. Once again, my partner looks at me and goes, I don't like your shakes anymore. I'm like, well, they taste fine to me, and I'm just reducing the calories and increasing the nutrients. What else do I put in there? I put a scoop of this like red and green vegetable powder.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Your
Like a
essential
greens powder.
essential greens and
Yeah,
reds.
nice.
I put that in there. I put some magnesium in there. Like
Yeah,
I've got this
nice.
powder, magnesium, and protein. I think that's it. Really.
Jesus Christ. What
That's
we're
a
gonna
beast.
do
That's-
is we're gonna make this drink, and we're gonna put it in a supplement form, so you can just add water to it. That is a beast of a
It's a
shake.
bit- so it's like full superfood shake.
James wakes up at 3 a.m. just to make his shake.
Man,
Yeah.
it takes me, honestly, it's there. It takes me literally 5 minutes.
Yeah, straight in.
Straight in.
Is that
bang
what you
in.
have for breakfast?
I have it for breakfast.
Yeah, nice.
And then
nice.
lunch, I'll have just a stir fry, and whether I eat dinner or not depends on.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I try and eat, but it's an easy. I don't think about it. It
works.
Tastes fine. It's efficient, and on the weekends I have a nice eggs Benny or something.
Eggs Benny.
What do you have for breakfast, Ash?
Just black coffee with a little bit of cream.
There we go. Hey, that works too.
Yeah.
So, well, I try and I've been messing around with a whole heap of different things. I haven't gone down that healthy route yet, but I did carnivore for a couple of weeks, and I had really good benefit of just eating. It was more the lion diet. I don't know if you've heard of that. So it's just steak basically and salt,
Yeah.
and then water, and I lost a lot of weight. But then I came off some medication. I think I've covered this before on the podcast.
It's like the anti-vegan diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then I came off some medication, which was some antidepressants, and they threw me for 6 for like 4 or 5 weeks, where I felt hungover all the time. So when you feel hungover, like you're just eating whatever it is. Yeah. And then since then, I haven't been back on that path. And then I was trying to do some intermittent fasting, like with the old keto, like getting my body into ketosis. So I would just have a black coffee with some cream in it in the morning. And then I would try and last that throughout the whole day, and then have dinner at night, which was either a big steak, or some steak and veg.
Yeah,
But-
nice.
Yeah, I'm no dietitian either, but yeah, depending on what your body type is, sometimes it's actually good to have small meals to keep your metabolism burning, because the fire can go out, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and that's why I'm asking, is because, obviously what I'm doing, or not obviously, I'm not obese or anything, but I probably am, actually. Anyway, technically on the BMI, but yeah, what I am doing at the moment, I want to shake it up. So
Yeah, nice.
and I mean, I've tried plant-based. Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, pun intended.
Shake it up in the mornings, yeah.
But I have tried plant-based. That didn't work well for me, because I found Oreos were vegan. I found out. So
Lots of
there goes that. Yeah, I lived on Oreos.
I've always felt great veggies and fruit. For me, I don't know if you feel the same, because we've got kind of similar body types. I've sugar. I love fruit.
Yeah.
I've always loved fruit. Chocolate as well, dark chocolate, but fruit, man, I love fruit.
So
Always
I can
have.
smash milk chocolate till the cows come home.
Yeah, I'm more of a dark, and it is a bit of a health conscious choice as well to go dark.
Dark chocolate, yeah.
Yeah, I can have 2 squares of that shit. Whereas milk chocolate, 2 blocks easily. Yeah, it's just.
What made you go vegan? Was there?
My blood work, when I looked at what my blood markers, what was happening, I just didn't turn back after that.
Yeah, right.
Do you know the blood markers
So
that you were looking at?
yeah,
Or a couple of them?
Yeah, so like obviously things like B12 and iron and like all your normal blood markers, and just looking at significant difference, I found I had like a huge increase in like vitamin D, which we know, almost 90%, probably more people are vitamin D deficient.
Yep.
So I was like, well, that's a big win, because then things start to happen. I noticed, everyone says around B12, like when you're vegan and stuff, but that wasn't affected. So yeah, just all your normal blood marker, just everything was raised when I started to see it. And then I made an effort just to get it tested every 6 months.
Yeah,
just
right.
to kind
Just
of
to make sure.
just to reiterate that I was doing the right thing. Because again, I like to see, if it's working for me, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how to do it. That's the thing. I'll never tell you. Like, I'll give you ideas of like what works well, and go and try it.
What I love about you, Jordan, is that I don't know you're a vegan because you haven't told me yet, except for since we've asked.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you just like get a little bit. And I was very conscious of that when I was vegan. I'm like, I'm not judging anyone else. You can do whatever you want. I'm doing my own thing. And I was very conscious not to kind of, Bible bash people.
Yeah, and people close to me know, like, they respect it too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, I'm going to hammer you if you go and order steak.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like fully respectful around that. I'm not judgmental again. And like your identity to being some kind of nutrition, I was like, yeah, no, that's not me.
Yeah.
Like, this is just how I eat. I feel good.
Yeah, you're doing it because you want to do it because it's good for your body.
Yeah.
I did it because I didn't want to harm animals. I went through a kind of a bit of a spiritual thing, and I didn't want to harm animals, and that's kind of my reasoning. But I really still do love meat.
But I think too, like, something that I do try and bang on is we're in a privileged position here of being able to choose what we can eat.
Yeah.
We've got access to really good sources of food. And I think, if I lived in a different country where I didn't have the options, maybe I might have to eat a little different way. But because I'm here, I get access to like some really cool sources of food, which makes it a little bit easier to make my decision.
Yeah. And now there's a lot of restaurants and cafes, and everyone's catering for the vegetarians or the vegans or the dietary special dietary requirements.
Yeah.
So it's really good. You can still go out, and that's why breakfast is awesome as well, because you can get a good bloody vegan breakfast, no problems. I'm a big fan of acai bowls, like a good acai bowl with peanut butter and.
We're taking you
not
for
a fan?
smoothies, Ash.
Not a fan, or
Yeah, what I need to do is come to a 5-day retreat. And then just,
you'll eat anything after
Yeah, we
that.
can eat everything after that.
yeah, I don't know. I'll be the
Pancakes.
entertainment. I'll be dying.
Help
You guys
me.
will just be like, just chill out, man. Bashing my head against the wall to try and knock me out for another 4 hours.
Yeah, I reckon the mental challenge would be huge.
Huge.
Oh, yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, these kind of the dudes that I do it with are very experienced. So it's not like, you're just walking into a, unsupervised, some rogue, like,
Yeah.
here's no food for 5 days.
So,
I've got a question.
yeah, you got a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
I did have a question, but you go.
I want to know about Jordan's journaling
Oh.
techniques.
Before we go to the journaling, can I ask one more thing about
You want to keep it on topic? How
on
dare you?
on health? Do you have any other big changes that you've made in your daily routine or life that have made a massive difference to your health in terms whether it's eating or exercise? Is there anything like you go, this one thing really changed the way my life and lifestyle is now because of this one thing? Is there any?
I would say probably the biggest one is just kind of eating with like-minded people. So like eating, like with others, whether you share meals, like again with your family or like whatever. I found that has been such a big thing to remove that ability where like the weekends is like catch up with the boys and do all that. Like that's still there.
Mm-hmm.
But I've found that if you kind of bring people together and you share food together, like that's been probably one of the biggest things, probably in the last 10 years, where you're just connecting with others over food. I think it's been lost in like this world of like Uber Eats and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a place for it, but I think I found a real joy in like getting people together and like you share, all your food together and you actually talk like how we used to, I guess, when we were growing up.
And that's helped with connection and.
I think it's also been like a really good way to kind of deal with some of the stuff like stress-wise. Obviously, you don't need to be open, especially if you've got guests. But it's, it's kind of nice listening to other people's stories as well and realizing that you're not the only one going through, some kind of stress or like, it's easy for us when we go home to our own four walls and it's like all of our problems are the biggest problems in the world.
Yeah. So it's connection, mental health, putting things in perspective, community. I feel like, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the couch watching TV while I'm eating dinner.
Yeah.
Community. I would love, community. I would love a group house with like 6 people in it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would.
And just catch up at dinner every
Hell yeah, I would love it. Just and be like, yeah,
like
sweet.
a commune.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
it's similar. It's like similar to that. Like a lot of the stuff, I got 3 other brothers. So like when we catch up, there's like 6 people around a dinner table, right? And generally, we'll all invite someone else. So it's like 12 people sitting around having dinner. And it's a way that not only we get to catch up, but it's something that we just like you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, you put all your differences aside. But it's more the fact that okay, you can vent and just talk shit and like just there's no judgment. Like
Yeah.
take whatever you want away from it and talk in the car right on the way home. But it's like
Yeah. This is a really interesting answer. I wasn't expecting it.
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
That was good.
I found that's a big one. I just think it's just missing now where, you know, everyone's about community and this, that, but they've really lost that connection of like connecting with people, like sharing meals, like how we used to.
Yeah.
I think if we can get back to that, you know, some of the mental health problems, if anything, would be brought to like a bit more of a surface and be like, yeah, you know, I'm grateful that I have you and you sitting here listening to stuff. So
Yeah. And sometimes you just need someone to listen, right?
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Journals
Can
and
I,
diaries.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Can I ask about your journals?
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated with journals. I don't keep a journal. I want to.
Why don't you?
Well, quick update on Ash. I just got diagnosed with ADD today, or AD, I don't know, ADHD
Nice.
or something. Yeah,
It's a
and I was like,
superpower.
oh, that's superpower. But turns out when
Superpower.
you're tired and stressed, it's really hard to concentrate.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll be working with a psych to deal with that throughout in the future. Literally just came from the testing.
Yeah, right.
And to find out if I did it. So maybe it has something to do with that. But I've always loved the idea of journals. I have started to keep them before. I had an anxiety journal when I was going through some stuff to write down about just mind mapping. Like, what am I anxious about? Okay, how can I deal with these problems just to get it out on paper?
Nice.
And it's something that I do want to bring into our family environment. Paul said that he sits down with his kids and journals every night. I don't know. And it's something that I have thought about doing as well. But I'm fascinated and I've always wanted to like get something in practice. So could you share a little bit about your journaling practice? Because I feel like it would be quite intense. But yeah.
No,
and
it's-
some people might be like, what the fuck, Ash, are you talking about?
Yeah,
now?"
but I don't think it's intense. I think it's like getting the thoughts out of your head so that you can go to sleep like that night.
Yeah.
I think like, you know, you've had a stressful day, you've had some kind of conflict or like, you know, shit's gone wrong. Like if someone opened my journal, they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you even talking about? Which
So
is fine.
So you're just doing a mind dump.
Just
before
getting
bed.
stuff out, you know, I'll write thoughts out, you know, like stuff that's happened or like there's no real structure to it. What I find there is once I start writing,
Yeah.
I generally either fall asleep or I just get to a point where I'm like a bit more at ease. Like when if I have a racing mind or whatever, like before I go to sleep, I think like just getting stuff down in there, like sometimes it's bullet points, sometimes it's just like 2 paragraphs, sometimes it's 2 pages.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like, what if I could have done this better? Or, you know, like just stuff that, you know, tomorrow I need to do this. Like just not even like our diaries, but more just putting stuff in there so you forget about it while you go to sleep.
And what are you using for a journal?
Just a notepad and like a pen.
Is it blank page?
Yeah,
or
blank
is it
page.
Ruled?
Yeah, ruled.
It's ruled.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
very specific with
Yeah,
the
very
journal.
specific. I like that.
I'm like,
What does the cover look like? Is it hardcover, softcover?
No, I think
is it a
pen and
Moscow?
paper. Yeah.
like,
Pen and paper, like I found just the therapy of just doing pen and paper.
Which is
a
again is
big
kind of
one.
lost, right? We don't do a lot of that now.
It's again like coming back to the analog
Yeah.
type stuff. It's journaling and reading for me because it keeps me away from my phone. My phone's in like the lounge room and I'm in my bedroom. Like there's no, yeah.
Even my mentor said when we were writing goals or doing our planning, he said he's all about the 1%, but it's like if you're using pen on paper, there's more intent than just typing. There's more intent there into the universe or whatever you're creating.
Yeah.
Just get back to that organic pen and paper.
yeah, there's a reason why it's stuck around for so long, I reckon. Anyway,
it's also
thanks,
it's easy
but-
not to do as well. You know, it's like again, you got to be
Again?
disciplined on it. Like, you know,
Ash's discipline.
but I think
not
if
high.
if you got that book there and your pen like on your bedside table, I think that's a start.
Yeah.
You know that when you go, like you can write. It's then if you're going to leave it open because it could be private.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you have a partner?
I don't know.
So
I was
single
gonna
ladies
say, I
out
was
there.
going to say lucky bastard.
So yeah,
because I was like, I want to start reading before bed, and it's like, but trying to sleep next to a person that's sleep deprived.
It's
and then,
huge.
like with reading a book, and it's like, it's like,
Yeah,
hey, I'm
and
just
I-
gonna pull your
exactly.
tooth, just stay still, like
Yeah, exactly.
So-
I mean, it's right now. It's easier because there's no one there.
yeah.
But like, there has been times where it is. You go through those challenges of like, how do I deal with this?
Yeah,
Because I know it's important to me, but like, you've also got to be respectful of someone else.
Yeah, Alex was reading in a book the other night in bed, and I was trying to sleep, and she goes, "Yeah, like, do you mind if I just?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's okay." And I'm like, deep down, I'm going, "How am I supposed to fucking sleep with the light on?"
Get a
And I'm
sleep
just trying to
mask.
sleep, and I'm like, she go, I'm like, "No, it's all right." I'm like, maybe I should just say, "This is not cool." Not, this isn't too cool. But no, it's fine. I think now, if she's reading, I'll just pick up my book and start reading.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
be fine with that and just deal with it. Because I've got a book. I actually prefer to read books rather than electronically or
Yeah,
audio.
nice.
I just like
Yeah,
to
I'm the
pick it up
same.
and just dive in there and get that kind of.
See, I get addicted to books. So if I'm like into a book, like I will not put it down. Like I read 1984 the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and like, it was actually the other day. It was 9 months ago. It was over Christmas, but over the Christmas holiday, and I was like, "She's like, you want to go to the beach?" And I'm like, "Oh, reading." Like, and I'd like, but I couldn't put it down. So like, books for me are dangerous in a way.
That's good. I've got this book I've been reading for over a year. It's a good book, but I'm just like, it's not one of those can't put it down books.
Yeah.
But I've also like to finish it. I won't start
see.
something. I want to finish it because I'm still enjoying the story, but it's not like, whoa, this is great.
Yeah. Well, you saw that book that I got. It's like 800 pages. I found it. It's what is it? About face. I don't know. Have you ever heard Jocko Willink? Have you heard of Jocko Willink?
yeah,
So
yeah.
Jocko Willink refers to this book all the time.
Oh, right.
And I was down
I think I know the one you're talking about.
it's
Yeah.
somewhere, and I walked past an op shop, and Tish wanted to go in, and I went straight to the books, and I found this book
Stop
for
it.
$3.
Stop it.
And Tish's like,
It's
"Why
a
are you getting that
sign.
book?" And I'm like, "Babe, look it up on eBay. They're like going for $378." And I was like, "I got to read it. I've got to read it." So, but I'm
Have you
like,
started it?
haven't started
Ah,
it because
okay.
I'm worried. I've looked in bits and pieces of it, and I'm like, "Oh, I reckon this is gonna be a good book." But 800 pages, man.
Yeah, and how small are the words? Because you know how some books you read, I'm like, this one looks like a pretty easy read. Usually, self-development books are quite,
Yeah.
quite simple to read. It doesn't take long to get through it. And then you pick up these fantasy novels, and they're like,
The words are like this big.
it's like, oh, this is quite dense.
It's like size 4
Yeah,
font.
yeah. So yeah, is it 800 pages dense or is it 800 pages?
It's pretty dense.
Yeah.
There's pictures though. There's some pictures,
Oh, nice.
but yeah, it's pretty dense.
It's about face, right?
About
Yeah,
face,
yeah.
Colonel Hackworth,
Yeah.
Colonel General.
If Jocko Willock's recommending it, must be pretty
Yeah,
on.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
hope you're ready.
yeah. I'm scared to start it because I'm worried. Maybe I should come to a 5-day retreat, not eat anything, and just
Just
sit
read-
there and
sit and
fucking
read
read.
a book. Yeah.
Just that's a good idea.
I think a 3-day water fast would be a good place to start for a,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
or even
Well,
a 1 day or
so
2 day and
start-
work your way up.
I mean,
Start with one and do 48 hours and then do 72.
I'm not unfamiliar with fasting. I've never done a 3-day fast or a 24-hour fast, but I have, and I was wondering if you could maybe talk to this. James alluded to it before. Preparation. So I know that if I eat carbohydrates in like pasta or whatever on the night, the next day I will have hunger pains. Whereas if I eat like a high fat meal or a steak or something, no hunger pains at all. Is that something that you think of going into a fast before you start a fast? Like what does
Yeah.
what does your 3-day fast, which you just throw out randomly, how do you prepare for that? obviously with
Yeah, I
vegan.
mean, you got to be really like I'm not eating pizza and stuff before I go into a fast. I'm eating, pretty much what I normally do. I'm not
Yeah.
eating foods that I don't normally eat.
Can
I'm
you,
not
for us novices
Yeah.
in the fasting world, what's the recommendation to prep for a 3-day fast?
Yeah, I think just go clean, like as clean as you possibly can,
Yeah.
before you do it. Probably like 24 or even 48 hours, I recommend. I
Yeah.
think if you're going to do a 3-day water fast, treat it like a 5-day experiment where
Yeah.
you eat really,
Cleanly
clean.
coming in and coming out.
And then obviously the most important part is when you finish.
So no big weekends beforehand.
Yeah, don't do
No,
that.
no drinking
That's
alcohol.
easy. that's so easy.
A big weekend is looking after the kids.
Yeah.
Don't. I think too, like, I wouldn't eat anything that I don't normally eat before I fast. It's like when I go to a big race, it's like I don't eat anything that I don't normally train on.
Yeah.
I know what works.
Yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure?
I wouldn't say guilty. I like pizza and burgers like everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm not. I don't crave stuff like I don't need to go out and get burgers and pizza all the time. It's just I just don't crave it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's interesting. I think the more that I've dived into nutrition, I look at stuff like, where people are plant-based, right? But they're eating like, fake meats and fake
Yeah,
cheese,
yeah.
and I'm like, what's the point?
What is your opinion on the fake stuff? Because
No, I think no way. Like,
Yeah.
It's pretty heavily processed, isn't it? That
It's
stuff. Like,
terrible.
yeah.
Like,
And it's full
keep
of
it
oils
clean.
and-
Like single
yeah.
ingredient foods, put it together. Like, construct your own bowls, like with single ingredient foods. Don't be like buying stuff because again, like convenience.
yeah. If you want to eat meat, eat meat.
Yeah, like
Right.
just eat single ingredient foods. Like if people got back to that too, I think it would help a lot of stuff. Well, again, yeah, that's it. Like it's it's so simple. What you said before around how you were doing steak and salt. It's 2 ingredients.
Yeah, and I've been meaning to try and get back to doing that. It's friggin' dealing with, well, not dealing, I shouldn't say dealing, but having a partner where she doesn't have to worry about what she eats. She's one of these lucky people that can just process whatever the hell she wants. And she's breastfeeding as well. So that's just ripping the weight off her. Like,
I like how you went like
it is. It's just like,
Love
I'm
that.
like-
breastfeeding.
Love that.
it's like fucking hell. Anyway, so she's doing a bang up job with that, but it's like I'll get home when my motivation to stay on the path is very little because I've been I've been eating very little all day, and then she'll have like a pasta bake or something made up, and you're like, ooh. Or like a risotto, and it's like, ooh, I'll just have a little bit of that, a little bit, or like you said, we'll go out and meet someone for a dinner, and it's like straight away, it's like, oh well, I guess it won't matter,
Yeah.
So it's like you really gotta, especially when you've got a baby and like you're both tired, it's very easy to just be convenient.
Plus,
So
there's a part of when I eat, eating makes you feel good. There's a part of it like I'm just so stressed and tired and I just want to feel good. I'm just going to eat something good and feel good.
oh yeah,
There's a part of that to it as well, right?
yeah,
Because I find sometimes I'll have some chocolates in the cupboard and I'm like, oh, this is delicious. Makes me feel good.
yeah,
Yeah, and I
Like a
think
whole
you need
pizza.
to lean into that
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's, but again, it's like, how often do you do that?
Mm.
That's the difference
Every
with.
week.
Well, that's
all
the thing.
day.
I think like looking at that, it's like
Yeah.
obviously there's something going on
Yeah.
in the week that's triggering you. So it's not the food. It's like, what is it?
Yeah, 100%.
I actually, and I'm going to talk to this, and we might have to cut it out.
Oh,
But I got stoned a couple of weeks ago.
you were overseas, weren't you?
I was overseas at the time. And because I've done meditation and I've done these Vipassanas where you look at desire and aversion and I watch my brain work. And I knew I'd get hungry when I did this. And I was just by myself. And I thought, I'm going to put a good movie on. I'm just going to sit there and watch this movie. And I love sometimes watching a movie like that because you just get my focus just dials right in.
Nice.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna get some chocolate or anything. I'm just going to resist. I'm just going to have a nice, healthy meal, and I'll sit on the couch and I'll watch this movie. And I'm sitting on that couch watching this movie, and my mind goes, get some chocolate.
And then once it's in there,
And then I'm like sitting there going, no, I'm not going to get some chocolate. It's like, get some chocolate. Get some chocolate. Get some chocolate. And the barrage of get some chocolate thoughts that came into my mind, in half an hour, there would have been over 200 barrages of attacks from my mind going, get some chocolate, get some chocolate, get some chocolate. It's crazy. And because I was stoned, I'm like, I was actually seeing my brain work and almost like visualizing it coming in. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? No wonder I cave so easily. It is my mind is relentless at making me want chocolate. The desire was full on. And I'm like, obviously I went and got some chocolate.
do you know some people don't have that inside voice?
Yeah, some people can't. Yeah, they don't. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I heard that this week,
But yeah, I got some chocolate and then
could you imagine being stoned and being one of those people? Get
No.
some chocolate, get some chocolate, get some chocolate, get some chocolate. They'd be sitting there.
yeah, because some people don't.
Imagine if they couldn't get chocolate.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Start losing their
Some
mind.
chocolate.
But it's amazing. Once I had that chocolate, my mind focused on something else. I focused on the movie and it was fine.
So interesting.
It's like it
Get the
needed
Doritos. Get the Doritos.
Yeah, it was like really eye-opening for me because I'm like, wow.
Chocolate's your vice.
Yeah, it was like bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, okay, I'll get some. Caved.
One time when I was overseas, my mind went, get the Doritos. And then I went and got the Doritos.
Yeah.
After probably three times of get the Doritos.
Get the
My
Doritos, yeah.
willpower was like,
And it felt
I was
good.
listening. Oh, wait, it gets worse, Jordan. Then it's like, make that mac and cheese. And then dip that Dorito into that mac and cheese and use it as a dip. Oh, yeah, that's it. It was like,
Things just taste so good, don't they?
oh my God.
I was like, man,
I reckon you could have like a stoned kitchen where it's like just have all these like weird and wonderful dishes.
yeah.
But yeah, Doritos and mac and cheese. That was a eye-opening experience, James.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy how the mind works and how desire works and that just made it very obvious to me how relentless your mind can be at just focusing on that desire and making, and kind of I'm not going to say it forced my hand, but it made me.
Yeah, but you're like,
it made me
shut up.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like I
just-
can concentrate on the movie now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was so
cool.
It was just this really weird awareness. Anyway, chocolate is good.
Chocolate is good.
Chocolate's delicious.
Yeah.
All this talk of food. What am I going to have tonight?
Well, what time are we on? Are we pretty
6 o'clock. So yeah,
doing pretty well?
Feeling
over
good.
an hour.
Over an hour?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you got any? Is there anything else you want to ask around nutrition or anything?
No, well, maybe. Do you reckon you could give us a quick game plan? I know you don't like to give advice,
Yeah.
but like, give us maybe. Could you give me a quick game plan? Like, just, I mean, we've obviously had a bit of a discussion today. What would you be like to just maybe try these couple of things really quickly? So, like, for me, my takeaway from this conversation is maybe I should try and simplify my meals again. Maybe try and do that shake that James is talking about, and then maybe get to a point where I could do a 3-day fast. And then my other takeaway is like trying to get out and experience the journey and doing some walkarounds, and then trying to build in my fitness through experiences rather than actually chasing
Yeah.
the things. But is there anything that maybe
I think that's
that
good.
maybe you could recommend that I do that maybe some people out there might get some benefit from?
Yeah, I think if we get back to the simplicity of stuff, the basics work best. Whether we're in the gym, we're doing kung fu, like, as monotonous as they are sometimes,
Yeah,
like
wax on, wax off.
basics are the best.
Yeah.
So, find what works for you food-wise. Again, just go back to simple ingredients.
Yeah.
You don't need to make complex meals every night to taste delicious either. Like you can whack together 3 or 4 things and you've got something that's not going to take you 2 hours to put together. So I think one of the big things that I have is basing my days around movement. And so like just basic movements, like whether we are in the office or like I've found like sometimes I even have meetings like where I'm walking with people now, and just getting them to be like, all right, we could just sit here, but could we maybe voice record ourselves and go for a walk outside in the sun? Like just thinking a little differently to what, is the norm, not sitting around a boardroom all the time. There's a time and a place for it, but I think a lot of the stuff around meetings could be, it can be quite productive as well, where you can actually, get outside. We live in normally a pretty good place where it's not raining, apart from the last year. But I think like coming back to that movement of just keeping it simple, nutrition, just keeping it simple, try and find what works. Again, like just single ingredients. Just start with that. Don't make it complex.
Have you come across anything where you've been tested or have found tests to find out what nutrition works best for you?
I wouldn't say nutrition. I'd really go by feeling.
Okay.
Yeah, I know like there's certain things where I wouldn't say like I was finding that when I was eating certain combinations of food, I was, bit lethargic. Like I didn't feel that good. Like having too many oats in the mornings, right? Like I'm starving some mornings. So
Overdo it sometimes.
yeah, I don't need 6 cups of oats.
Yeah.
Like 4 cups of oats is fine, split over 2 meals. Like that's how I would do it. I would have an oats in a bowl and I'd have oats inside a smoothie, but having 6 cups of oats just destroyed me for the whole day.
Yeah. How many meals are you eating during the day?
I try and squeeze in at least 4 and maybe a smoothie.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have any more than that.
And they're smaller meals. They're not big. They're like kind of smaller.
Yeah, I would say like, I have a protein source, and then, I've got my fruits and veggies around that, eat a lot of nuts and stuff and throw in like heaps of seeds as well. So it's like my bowls, they look quite dense, but they're actually not. They're just really small. I eat lots of like ferments like kimchi and sauerkraut and all that kind of stuff. So again, I try and go for lots of colors, but they are quite dense. Like I feel very full when I finish, but I'm not, I can't get off the couch or get off the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than feeling like you've overeaten and you're full. It's the
terrible.
worst feeling.
Oh. I mean,
Huge.
I hate it. I hate going out for dinner and you go, oh man, I have eaten fucking way too much.
Yeah, I think like,
I don't mind it.
yeah, I think just, Ash, to be
That's
honest,
amazing.
like just figure out stuff that works. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it for people, but the boring stuff is the
Works.
best.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's how I eat, man. I'm just boring. And my partner knows it's boring. She goes, how can you eat the same thing? I can't eat the same thing for lunch
Well, can we talk on that?
3 or 4 times a day.
I find when I'm single, I'm pretty onto it and pretty like I'm happy. I don't have to, but partners get involved, and it's like, why does it matter what the fuck I eat? You're not eating it. Like, yeah,
it's a good question. I think like the communication around that is a big one. Of like, most people eat very acutely where they're just thinking of their weekly goals. They're not thinking like long-term longevity. They're just thinking, I'll just eat this meal tonight. But then that tonight turns into, 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Suddenly then you've had 52 weeks, 52 nights where you've eaten, like something that you probably shouldn't have.
Indulged.
yeah, yeah. It's funny though. Like I can easily eat boring. Like when I'm on, and again, like I'm a bit all or nothing. But when I'm on, I can eat just steak. Like I used to eat a bag of spinach by itself as a snack, like back in the day.
Yeah.
Like I can quite happily eat boring food.
A bag of spinach.
But that was a snack. That was a snack for me
Damn.
once
Have
upon a
some
time.
salt. Yeah.
It was just spinach, just normal ease. just
Okay,
trying to get
Popeye.
me- Anyway, yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I only did it a couple of times, but yeah.
it's
Or
a song-
sardines. I would
Yeah.
smash sardines by themselves
Yeah, I used
from
to
a
eat
tin.
cans of tunas by itself.
Yeah, the sardines are a whole different game to tuna, I reckon.
Yeah,
Oh, sardines are gross.
like cat food.
Yeah, it's like whole fish with skeletons and all sorts of
Oh,
shit.
yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
I
But-
think too, people looking for always like that secret sauce, and it's not. It's basically in the basics.
Basics and consistency, right?
Yeah, like when I so in June I did 33. I did a marathon every day for 33 days, and everyone was like asking me, what did you eat? What is it? What is it? What is it? And I was like, it's literally I'm just having oats, blueberries, hemp seeds. Like, it's very basic.
Yeah.
It's even my electrolyte profile when I'm racing is dextrose, magnesium, potassium. It's nothing
Magnesium is a fucking game changer.
huge, like phenomenal.
It is, if you're not taking magnesium and you're doing a lot of sport, or it is just the best thing for your body.
I would say, like, apart from getting your omega-3s in, I would say that magnesium would, is almost on par with having that. And if people can improve their omega-3 to 6 ratio, things are a hell of a lot different. Throw in magnesium in there and it's like total another animal.
I can literally feel the change in my body if I have magnesium that night. Even sleep's better.
Yeah.
But my body will be, because I get tight tendons and things, my body is just different if I
Yeah.
take magnesium. It is like literally light and dark.
And I think too, like talking on supplements is you can't take supplements to outdo like a shitty diet.
Damn it.
Like, you want to try and get your nutrition right first
Yeah.
before you start dialing in on supplements. Because I see people stack supplements, but I look at their nutrition, and like I was like, well, you just
Actually, there was something on the Huberman podcast. I'm going to fuck it up. But I think he had Peter Attia on or something.
yeah, I saw that one.
And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, if you don't have your basics right, you have no rights buying any fucking supplements. Yeah.
It's true. I mean, and you can feel it too. It's like, even with like training stuff as well in the gym, like the basic movements work best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even kung fu.
Like
It's
kung
the
fu,
basics. It's the
exactly.
basics that matter. We do our basics every single time we go, because they are what matter. And even in tennis, they'll do the overhand. They'll do the basic shots over and over again, because
Yeah.
they're the ones that win the match, not the special ones.
Not the ones that are underneath the leg.
Yeah, no, it's the basic moves. It's those over and over. That's what wins, the consistency, those things. And it's like the 80-20 rule I use. It's like during the week, just keep it clean, basic.
Yeah.
Experiment on the weekends, have good dinners on the weekends, but I'm all about the fuel and keeping the calories down during the week, and what's good for my body. I want to make sure I'm getting good nutrients.
I'm going to change the subject here really quickly before we go. But I found out where the term knocked up comes from. Have you heard this?
Nah.
Have you heard this?
Nah.
So just on topic with the accidental fatherhood thing. So it's really bad. It's really bad. James, you may want to cut this out and edit it. So
Okay.
it comes from back when there was slaves. If they were pregnant, you would knock the price up because they're going to get two.
Ah,
How fucked up is that?
That's heavy.
that is
How fucked up is that? Someone told me. So
That is heavy.
James, if you wanted to sell your partner, you get more for
Now's
it.
the time. Yeah,
Knocked. I'll
it
never
up.
look
How
at that
bad
ever
is that
again.
though?
That's like the rule of thumb. Do you know what the rule of thumb is?
The stick that you had to hit.
You couldn't hit
Your partner.
your partner with a stick any thicker than your thumb.
Wow,
That
I
was your
didn't know
rule,
that
rule of
either.
thumb. So you can.
Yeah.
That's the thickest you can go.
These
That's
are
a
just,
horrible one as well.
Yeah.
These
That
are
is
just
true.
sayings that we're just using every day.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
No context to
Yeah,
it until now.
Rule of
Yeah.
thumb and knocked up.
Knocked up. That's
Yeah.
so bad, eh? Anyway, sorry. I just found
good.
out and I knew that. I
good
was like, I want to
awareness.
share that on the podcast.
Yeah,
just
good
before we go.
awareness.
Just before we go.
Good awareness.
Well,
But,
Jordan, it's been awesome chatting about fasting and nutrition, and I've actually loved where this conversation went. And I didn't think we'd even talk about this stuff.
I had no idea who was coming on today. So
Love that.
I was, blank slate. So I'm really grateful.
Yeah, it's been really good.
So awesome.
So, if anyone wants to find you or follow you, is there, what are the best places to?
Yeah, I've got my own website, which is jordanchennery.com.au, and then obviously the social media platforms as well.
Yeah.
Started doing a few TikToks now, do
Yeah.
some fun stuff. so-
Nice. Yeah, well, you're a content creator, so I'm expecting good things.
Yeah. Maybe we should give you the videos to edit.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
So we'll chuck some links in the profile, and they can find you there or follow you there. But it's been awesome chatting, man. And yeah, I'm actually I'm really interested in that 5-day fast, just for life.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when I can do that.
maybe the girls will give us a 5-day
Maybe
sabbatical.
soon. Maybe we do it all together.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
awesome.
fun.
We
That'd
just
be
need to
fun.
get
I'll
a
bring my
nice
book.
place. Yeah, bring your book.
Bring a
And
couple
then-
of books. I'm going to be needed to distract myself somehow.
I'm going to need to be tied down.
Well, it doesn't matter. There's no food in the fridge, so it doesn't
I'll
matter.
find a way.
He's resourceful.
I'll find
He's
a way.
resourceful.
Awesome. There's chewing gum on the back of the couch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Well,
but yeah.
thanks again, man. Thanks for coming in. And yeah, thanks everyone. We'll see you next podcast.
Good luck on your races too.
Yeah.
Thank
Really
you.
quickly.
Thank you,
Sorry.
boys.
See you, everyone.
See you guys.